Hello, and welcome to Catalyze Music Academy. My name is Zaak Kerstetter. I'm an Ableton Certified Trainer. And for today's quick tip, I want to talk a little bit about some of the interesting loop modes in Sampler that I feel are often overlooked and can do some really cool, interesting things with your samples as you're playing them. Before we dive into that, I do want to let you know if you are enjoying the content on the channel, please feel free to subscribe, like, comment, all that kind of stuff. Or you can also check out the brand new Patreon I just set up if you want to help support the channel. So, diving right into it, right here we have a sampler instrument with a little vocal sample loaded up in here. Sounds a little bit like that. It's just some random sample I found. So when we have a sample in here, we can start looping this in a number of different ways. The sustain mode, which is right here, the arrow with the line is no loop, which means whenever we get to wherever this line is, it just ends. Like that. Pretty straightforward. However, we can switch this over to loop mode. With the two arrows moving the same direction means that if I were to loop this area, it's just going to play from the beginning to the end. Once it gets to the end, it goes back to the beginning and just plays it like a normal loop. Just like that. If we switch to this mode, this is our scrub mode, which means it's going to start at the beginning, play to the end, and then play in reverse and scrub backwards and forwards, playing forwards and reverse. As long as you're holding on the note, it's going to keep going back and forth like that, which is pretty cool. So those are your options for looping. There are also these release mode options down here, where we have basically the similar options. We have no loop, regular loop, and then reverse loop. However, if you turn these on and you try playing something, we like do something like this, it doesn't do anything. It sounds exactly the same. You're not going to hear any difference here. The reason for that is we can basically set up a separate loop brace over here for when we let go of our MIDI note. So one loop when we're playing and a different loop when we let go. However, this is based off of the release time of your volume envelope. So even if I have something set up like this, you're not going to hear this do anything because our release time is too short. So what we need to do is we need to go over to our filter/global section. We need to find our volume envelope over here, and we can see our release time is 50 milliseconds, which, like I said, is way too short. So we're going to crank this up to be like, I don't know, 2.5 seconds, and maybe adjust the curve a little bit. So now we have this nice long release. So now if we go in here, if we set up something like this, have a nice short loop over here, and then another short loop over here, if we are in the first release mode, which is just the arrow with the line, I'm holding the note down, it's going to play this part, and then as I let go, it's going to play this part till it gets to the end. Like that. We can also play this in regular mode to see what it sounds like. Like that. So if you're holding it down, it loops it, you let go, it's going to play as far as this arrow goes. The other mode allows us to set up a separate loop over here. So now, again, if I'm holding this down, it's going to play this. When I let go, it'll play through this part once, and then it'll loop this part over here. Which allows us to create these cool little like echo effects after we let go of the note. Or as you can probably imagine in this mode, it's going to scrub through this area. So we can have one loop normally and then one scrubbing back and forth if we want. And again, the amount of time it takes going through this extra loop is determined pretty much entirely by the length of our release. So the longer this goes, the longer we get of this extra loop. So that's basically it. That's kind of the idea here. Not something you'll be using in every single sample, but I think it's a really cool way to add a little bit of extra performativity or a little extra nuance to your sampling. If you have a really long sample like this that has different parts that might be sound cool when they're looped separately, that allows you to just play one note and hold it down. It loops it one way, let go, loops it a different way. You can mix and match these techniques to create some really cool, interesting variety and dynamics within your samples. So hopefully you enjoyed watching that. Hopefully that is helpful for you. And hopefully I will see you again in another video. Thanks for watching.